Tim Tsujii, the Director of Elections in Forsyth County, on Wednesday outlined some of the reasons that he said voters should feel confident in the way that elections are run.
It is important that everyone is made aware that the DS-200 tabulator becomes inoperable without the election stick, which makes having access to the override code invalid. But even if the election stick was still inserted, and while having access to the override code, the DS-200 would have required a secondary administrative passcode to access any of the administrative functions. That passcode was never disseminated before, during, and after the election, even to our trainers. Secondly, the DS-200 tabulator audit logs are another layer of security that would reveal any and all activity on the tabulators. All DS-200 tabulator audit logs have been reviewed and verified. We did not identify any irregularities that would indicate tampering or manipulation of the votes counted. Additionally, there are no records of additional ballots being scanned after the polls were closed on the tabulator. These very same audit logs were requested and shared with the Forsyth County Republican Party chairman preceding the filing of the elections protest. The zero tapes from all precincts, except for precinct 085 and 605, have been accounted for and verified, and this includes the tape from precinct 131, where one of the listed petitioners was serving as a precinct judge, which they signed certifying that the tabulator was zero when the polls opened and that the election is being held in accordance with the laws of the state. The results tapes, both the first and third copies, have been accounted for and verified. This includes the tapes from precinct 131, where one of the listed petitioners was serving as a precinct judge, which they signed certifying that the results as it appeared on the tape were a true and accurate account of all ballots counted and that the tabulator was zero when the polls opened and that the election was held in accordance with the law of the state. All chain of custody forms were accounted for and signed. This includes the form from precinct 131 where one of the listed petitioners was serving as a precinct judge, which they signed certifying that the counts reported are true and correct. All seals and USB result sticks were accounted for and have been secured. The vote history from the authorization to vote ATV forms signed by the voters reconcile the number of ballots cast on election day. In compliance with statute, all precincts were comprised of bipartisan precinct officials that were all present on election morning, throughout election day, and at the closing of the polls. Additionally, election observers appointed by both major parties were also present at various polling places on election morning, throughout election day, and at the closing of the polls. No reports were shared of witnessing any unauthorized ballots being scanned through the tabulator. A mandatory hand-to-eye recount of 2 randomly selected precincts was conducted, and the results matched the original vote count. I hope that this information I provided is helpful and assures all Forsyth County voters that every measure is taken to ensure the safeguard and transparency of our elections. The staff and I are committed to our mission of conducting fair and accurate elections in accordance with law. Thank you.
I'm Wesley Young, reporting for the Winston-Salem Journal.